We want to ensure that our recovery is a green one that helps us to build back better our economies, create sustainable growth and jobs for all Europeans. And there are two main reasons for this. First, the economic crisis and the climate crisis are two sides of the same coin. The actions to decarbonize our economies can at the same time help improve the competitiveness of our industry and create new opportunities for lasting growth. And second, by investing in future-oriented sectors such as clean energy, energy efficiency or circular economy, we are building a more sustainable, resilient economy better equipped for future shocks.
We do face a climate crisis, that the world is getting hotter. We can measure it. It's already 1 degree hotter in the last century. If we want to manage it, we have to keep the world's temperature down to an increase of below 2 degrees, and ideally close towards to 1.5 degrees. But the power grid is particularly important. We have to electrify the economy. If you think just of cars, for instance, the way in which we will get zero-emission cars is a large part through electric vehicles. And so we have to shift towards an economy which is much more electrified, but electrified with green electricity.
To achieve 55% emissions reduction target, we need 54 gigawatts in renewables, which is more than the entire Polish power system in 2019. The total costs of reaching EU's climate change targets are an enormous burden for member states, heavily reliant on coal, which have a different starting point in their transformation to a climate neutral economy. Therefore, a proper financing mechanism such as increased modernization fund and solidarity pool, as well as resilience and recovery facility and programs under the next Multiannual Financial Framework 2021 to 2027 should be provided for these member states so as to help them in this transition and not to leave them behind.
In Eurogas, we see that there is going to be need, not just, as Chris said, for electrifying the economy. We believe much more strongly that you have three pillars that you will build the future economy on. The first being energy efficiency. You have renewable electrification. It must be renewable. That's very clear. And also, from our world, you need to make sure that you're using renewable and decarbonised gases. But in the process of getting to the renewable and decarbonised gases, for many parts of the European Union, it will also be necessary to utilise natural gas, as countries will move from coal to natural gas. The EIB lending criteria that Chris has also referred to certainly recognise this to a certain extent, because in relation to things like home heating, they do provide provisions for supporting projects that would place small boilers in homes to replace coal or possibly even biomass burning heating, because this is obviously going to support an overall reduction of CO2 emissions, but also improvement of air quality.
We have at the moment just transition fund that has been proposed. We have the Next Generation EU. This is an opportunity to take care of the changes necessary in the energy sector. This is important because it's quite unique in size, and at the moment when we can think really about changing the systems.
I mean, the good news is that renewable energies are competitive now and will become progressively more in the future. And so that includes hydrogen, by the way. We have every possibility of achieving our goals. We need to bear in mind that there are some regions in Europe that are based on economic agglomerations, based on single technologies, old technologies, maturing technologies that are going to have to close down. But that's not the first time this has happened in Europe. We have plenty of regions where, due to globalization, the same thing has happened in the last decades.
We are in front of not only an energy transition, I said also industrial, technical transition. The world is changing in technologies. So use the opportunity and the funding that comes out. It's an unprecedented amount of support for a bad reason. I mean, a virus, but it actually can solve the lingering problems of the financial crisis. And so my point is, do not try to help sectors that are in decline by keeping them, because you are not helping also the people that are inside. Help them to move out in the right direction. It's much better than protecting what shouldn't be protected.